There has never been a better time than now to come join the Bellisio Foods team. Bellisio has a new contract in place with plenty of awesome perks for their employees. From increased wages, access to the free health clinic, vacation after 6 months, and much more, Bellisio Foods is committed to putting their employees first. For more information or to apply, visit BellisioFoods.com/careers. Take advantage of these great new employee benefits and join the Bellisio team today. Visit BellisioFoods.com/careers to learn more. We at Orange Crush have many things to be thankful for, including everyone who makes Orange Crush a part of their day. To show our thanks, Orange Crush, WKOV, and participating Save-A-Lot locations will be giving away Thanksgiving turkeys to dozens of winners because even though Thanksgiving celebrations still might look different this year, we know Thanksgiving favorites will still be a part of your plan. Visit GJPepsiContest.com/turkey to find out where you can enter to win now through November 18th. No purchase is necessary. See official rules for details.
A 2021 Christmas concert is being planned, however, the men need to increase their numbers. There is still time to become part of this show. Join us at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center in downtown Jackson, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. See you there. Oh, by the way, be ready to meet new friends and have fun. And, oh yes, bring your smile, you'll need it.
Well, good morning, everybody, here on Main Street TV. This is our Veterans Day edition, and appropriately, we have two of Jackson County's best-known veterans with us. They're also leaders with veterans organizations here in Jackson County. To my immediate right is Arnold Tripp. He is the Jackson County Veterans Service Officer. And to his right is Bob Bragg, who is a United States veteran and also the commander of the Vietnam Veterans of America post here in Jackson. So today on Veterans Day, of course, traditionally, there is a Veterans Day program, and we will have one today at 11 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Park. And both of these gentlemen, Arnold Tripp and Bob Bragg, are very much involved in that. And Arnold, the Veterans Service Office, if I understand this correctly, every year to put on this Veterans Day program, you work with other veterans organizations in the county. It's kind of a group effort to put this together. Is that right?
It's more of a group effort in the city of Jackson. It's for Jackson County, but it's more involved with the city of Jackson. Both Wellston and Oak Hill have their own programs. Mm-hmm. So we usually do it just for the city of Jackson.
Okay, and what are the veterans organizations that participate in this program or that support it?
Well, like Bobby, the Vietnam Veterans, the DAV, the MVets, VFW, American Legion. That's the five that's in Jackson. They all support it in one way or another.
Okay. All right. And, of course, the program is going to be at Veterans Memorial Park, which is on the corner of Main and Portsmouth. And either one of you can answer this. I mean, I know how you feel about it, but what a perfect place to have a Veterans Day ceremony.
Since they put the park oven up there with all the flags, all the bricks for the soldiers, it is, to me, it's a perfect place to have it.
Right, with all the flags flying up there and the monuments, the bricks that are in the ground. And before we talk about the Veterans Day program, since we brought up the park, is there still space for more bricks?
Yeah, there's probably space for 400 or 500 more bricks up there, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, if somebody wants to buy a brick in honor of a certain veteran, how would they do that?
They can come down and see Jennifer or I. We have the cards. We'll help them find the information they need, and it costs $100. And then we turn it over to the committee that actually makes sure the bricks get put in there.
Okay. All right. So our Veterans Day program today, we'll turn to the here and now. Our Veterans Day program today at 11 o'clock, I know you're both involved in that. Both of you helped organize it and will take part in it. Bob, you're going to be the MC
Yes.
tonight. I guess for the folks who maybe haven't been to a Veterans Day program here, what can they expect? What will be involved in the program?
Well, we have the Jackson Band will be there to play the military Star Spangled Banner and all the military unit songs from the Marine Corps, Air Force. Also, we'll have a guest speaker, and then we honor all our veterans, and Arnold will read the history, and usually last around 30 to 45 minutes, but we sure hope a lot of people turn out today.
Okay, well, I think the weather man is going to be good to us. A little on the cool side, but it is November. I don't think we're supposed to have any rain until later in the day. So that'll be very important. Every year, the Veterans Day program. This is something that changes every year. You have a different speaker. Who have you got lined up this year?
We have a new Veteran Service Commissioner, and we asked each Veteran Service Commissioner when they come on the board to be a guest speaker.
Okay.
This year, it's Anthony Brenner from Wellston. He's the service director up there. He's also retired Air Force. His dad's retired Air Force, and that's about all I know about him right now. But
Okay, well, yeah, so a lot of people in the public, particularly in the Wellston area, know Anthony. I know he likes to go by Anthony because he is the service director up there, very involved in community affairs. I didn't know until more recently that he was an Air Force veteran, but one of the things he did up there, maybe you gentlemen are aware, he arranged for new flagpoles and new flags up there at the city building. Very nice. Had a ceremony for that. I think they honored Chris Barber, the late Chris Barber, who was a veterans leader in Wellston for many years, at that ceremony. So that's 11 o'clock today, and of course it's free. Anybody can go. And will they have the bleachers out? Do you know?
the bleachers are not out.
Okay. Well, that's probably has something to do with COVID, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
All right, but there will be plenty of spots there. I'm sure they'll have that section of the street blocked off there.
Yeah, the sawhorses are already there. We just got to go out and move them and put them in the right place.
Okay, all right. So that's the Veterans Day ceremony today at 11 o'clock at the Veterans Memorial Park. And if somehow you've never been there, it's at the corner of Main and Portsmouth in downtown Jackson. There will also be a ceremony in Vinton County in front of the courthouse today. Very similar program up there. We'll talk about that just a little bit later. But last night there was another event. It wasn't have to do with Veterans Day, but it always happens near Veterans Day, and that is because the Marine Corps has its so-called birthday party on November the 10th. It happens to be right next to Veterans Day.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult for me because I also organize that one, and the Marine Corps birthday was the 246th birthday of the Marine Corps. Why we celebrate the way we celebrate and the other services don't, I have no idea, but we had about 25 people, and we read the Commandant's message, General Lejeun's message, cut the cake. I had tried to talk about Wendell Brunton and started tearing up, so I
Right.
forgot the Marine Corps hymn. And I got on Larry Zorn's message. You forgot something. He said, no, I didn't. I said, watch this. And I got back where the speakers were at. I said, everybody listen up, and hit the button. And Marine Corps hymn played. Everybody stood up just like Marines do, and it don't
Right.
make a difference if you're 88 or 18. That's what happens.
Right.
And I don't know if we're brainwashed or just proud, but that's what we do.
Right, and so you had about 25 people there, and all Marines?
No, there was some wives, and matter of fact, there's a couple kids there.
Okay.
And, but no, we do it every year.
Okay.
We've had, and I think because of COVID's the reason the number was down, but we didn't do it last year, like we didn't do the Veterans Day Parade, so we have to build it back up again, hopefully.
Okay, all right. And this event was held at the DAV,
The DAV.
on Pearl Street, and it involved, you had to call and reserve so they would know how to prepare, but it was a free meal,
Free,
correct?
yes. Yeah, we do free, and my wife, Karen, and Judy Brunton they do the legwork on this thing, to be honest with you.
Right.
The rest of us just read and do what the procedure says we should do. And it comes away. General Lejeune put this out in 1921, so this is a 100-year thing. And his message back then is always read. And as a side effect to that, he always said, even if there's only 2 Marines together, they should celebrate. So we try to celebrate. Jackson's one of the few communities that does this that I'm aware of.
Right, and so it's really, you've been doing it for a number of years now. How did it get started the way you were doing the birthday party?
Well, if you really want to know, there was 5 or 6 Marines sitting in a corner pub. It wasn't a corner pub then.
Right.
And we got talking and said we ought to have a Marine Corps celebration and everything. And so we got up ready to leave, and they looked at me and said, "You handle it, Gunny." And I got a hold of Wendell and I started doing it, and we did it every year. Wendell was the driving force behind doing it year in and year out.
Right, and you mentioned Wendell Brunton's name before, and you just did it again. So for the folks who may not know, Wendell Brunton, longtime Jackson County resident, was a former county commissioner, and he was a Marine veteran, but he was one of those who, after he was out of the service, really was so dedicated and committed to veterans events.
Yes, he was.
I remember he was always involved in the programs there, always a leader there, and of course he passed away last year. I think, was he able to attend the Veterans Day last year? I know that's when he wasn't doing very well.
I don't remember. I don't think he was.
He wasn't there.
No, he wasn't.
Right. I know it's been about a year
He
now.
was our MC
Right.
all for years, and then when he passed, then I started doing it.
Right, okay.
So,
All right. But the veterans groups that are in Jackson, Bob, you're the is it commander the right word?
Commander of the Vietnam Veterans of America.
Vietnam Veterans of America. Just the veterans organizations that are here, do you have the memberships that you want, or are there veterans out there that are not involved that you would like to see involved?
We absolutely need help on a lot of things for the DAV, Vietnam veterans, American Legion, everybody. We need to get these young airmen, Marines, Army involved, and it's kind of hard. There's not a lot of help.
Okay, so you've kind of indicated to some of the younger ones who have been in that you'd like to get more involved. Okay, give me an example on the Vietnam Veterans of America group that you're in charge of. What do they do for veterans, and how often do they meet? And then why would it be good for a Vietnam vet who's not involved to get involved?
Well, we work with the Veteran Service Office, the other clubs. We donate money. We make sure that we can get a hold of these people and get them transportation if they need it, help to the hospital or anything else that they need. We try to work with everybody doing it, and that's the same for the American Legion and the AMVETS. They all.
Right, and even though it's kind of, I guess, a little bit of a fraternity because you're all veterans and you have that kindred spirit of being involved in the same thing, and there's a social aspect to it, there's also a service aspect to it too, isn't there? To where the veterans organizations try to do things to help their own?
That is correct. We help the community, but we try to help our own first. And but we help the community a lot. With donations here and there to Wellston, Jackson.
I know you do support the community as well as your own. That is very true.
You would be surprised if these organizations would release the amount of money and time and effort that these veteran clubs put into serving the community and serving each other.
Absolutely. Just from being in the job that I am with the newspaper and the radio and then now with the TV, I've seen over the number of years the positive impact that the veterans organizations have had, not only for themselves, but the things that they do for the community. Let's go over some of those groups. I don't know what the rules are for getting involved in some of them, what the criteria are for joining. I know that you can be involved in more than one group, of course. The American Legion It is over at 185 Morton Street, right on the edge of town. Can anybody be in the American Legion that's military? What's the rules there?
The American Legion is the one that's a little bit weird.
Okay.
If you're a veteran, you really need to go to their website or talk to one of them, and they check when you were in against their eligibility.
Okay.
But it's a little bit weird the way they do things. But
Okay. Is it though with the American Legion? Can you be military of any branch or any
branch.
war or whatever and still be involved?
yes, again, it goes back to when they were in.
When they were in. Okay. All right. Then you've got the DAV over at 145 Pearl Street where you had the Marine Corps birthday party. And that seems to be a very active group. I know they do bingo on a regular basis. So on the DAV, do you have to be a disabled veteran to be in the DAV?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to have at least a 0 percentage point to belong to the DAV. You have to be a disabled veteran to belong to that.
Okay. All right. And then right downtown, not too far from us, a couple doors down, is the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Do you have to be in a foreign war to be in the VFW?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they go by the awards you got, and they have certain awards. You have to have at least one of them to belong to the VFW.
All right. Okay, Bob, where does the Vietnam Veterans of America post meet? And I take it, do you have to be a Vietnam vet?
Yes, you have to be a Vietnam vet, and we meet at the DAB building once a month.
Okay.
On Pearl Street.
How many members do you have now?
Right now, we have around 33, but active and help, it ends up being about 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
So we need
Okay.
more members, and if you're a Vietnam vet, stop by, see us, we'll get you signed up.
Do you have any idea, Bob, how many Vietnam vets are out there that would qualify for membership if you could just get them involved?
I have no idea, but there's quite a few in Jackson.
And if you served during the Vietnam, the period that Vietnam is
Everybody thinks
eligible
that
for
you have to be boots on the ground.
Right, and you could just
You
have
don't have to
service
be
during
boosted.
that period.
service in that
Yes,
period of
right,
time.
right.
And that just changed here a couple of years ago
Yeah.
as they're trying to increase their membership. Used to, you had that boots on the ground.
Okay.
You know, I'm Air Force, and we flew over, but not on the ground. So
Right.
they got to, they changed that here a few years back, and you don't
Okay.
have to be, as long as you were served during the Vietnam.
Okay, all right. And then also downtown here, not too far away, the AMVETS. What's the criteria for the
The
AMVETS?
criteria for the MBETS is you have to have an honorable or a general under honorable conditions to belong.
Okay, and you do have some veterans that are members of more than one group, is that?
Well, yeah, like Bob and I belong to 6 different groups, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Bob belongs to, I think, 5.
5.
Yeah, but if you're eligible for belonging to more than one, yes, you can belong.
Okay, on the community stuff, the support that veterans groups give back to the community, even though, you'd like to have more members, can either of you give me an example or examples of some of the things the veterans groups have done that's been good for the community? Some project or donation that comes to mind?
Well, the first one is the DAV. And they do the transportation to veterans hospitals for our office. And one of the little-known things is the VA spent over $34 million in Jackson County last year.
Oh, wow, 34?
$20 million of that was health care.
Okay,
That's why we got to keep the vans running. And don't get me wrong, the other veterans clubs, they take veterans to the hospital and do this and that. But that's why we got to keep going, is because it's $20 million and it's over $30 million every year.
okay.
That comes into Jackson because of the veterans clubs and the veterans office.
Right, and I know it hasn't been all that long ago, Sunset Caldwell was involved in this. The MVETs have done some nice donations in the community as well, that are for the community as opposed to for other veterans. So, and there are many other examples like this. The American Legion, I know, has done some scholarships in the past. So, lots of different ways that the veterans groups help the community. Well, let's go now to the Veterans Service Office, Arnold, that you're in charge of. And Bob, are you on the board?
I'm on the board.
You are on the board, okay. For the folks who do not know what the Veteran Service Office is and what you do, could both of you gentlemen give me a explanation of exactly what you do and how you help veterans?
Well, the first and primary thing is get veterans all the benefits that they deserve.
Okay.
And they got coming. Second thing we do is we do limited financial assistance, and we will help find discharges. We do anything that we can possibly do for a veteran. If Jennifer and I can't come up with an idea, that's where these guys come in. They are there and very involved. And between the five of them, they can always come up with a sensible answer to benefit the veteran.
Okay. So when you talked about the limited financial assistance, Arnold, what sort of things can you do financial support for veterans and or their families?
Well, the primary one is food vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
But we have paid for rent, we paid for glasses, we paid for medicine, we paid for a lot of different things. It's just what we can do to help.
Okay.
And if they're eligible, that's the main thing. They got to be eligible.
And what do you have to do to be eligible?
You have to be an honorably discharged veteran or under general conditions. You have to be in financial difficulty.
Okay.
And
There's probably some criteria to determine what that is.
yeah, basically we compare income against bills
Okay.
in the family situation, and do they have kids, and are they going to the hospital? Is dad doing it? There's a lot of things that come into it.
Right. Well, now, Bob, from being involved, being a veteran yourself and being around the veterans organizations and now a member of the commission, do you feel that there are veterans out there who would qualify for some of this help, but they either don't know about you or they're just too proud to ask?
A lot of it is they're just too proud to ask. But we sure would wish they come in because we can help.
Right.
And we can find a solution to something. Arnold and Jennifer down there know a lot of people. They do a lot of stuff. They work with everybody, and we can help. If not, we'll find somebody that can.
Okay.
And that's the main thing.
All right. And the Veterans Service Commission, I believe you meet once a month. Is that right?
They meet once a month. Yes.
They meet once a month. Who are the members of the Veterans Service Commission, Arnold?
Well, there's Bob. He represents the Vietnam veterans. Anthony represents the VFW. Sunset represents the
And
MVETs. We got a new board member for American Legion, George Edwards.
yeah, we're Jesuits.
And I don't think I'm forgetting anybody.
Jerry Gearing.
Jerry Gearing's president of the board, and he represents the DAV.
Okay. Right. And you meet once a month. And one of the things that you do at your meetings is to make these determinations on who will receive help?
No,
Or is that the office staff that does that?
we do that, but we also have, I call it an officer of the day. If it's something that Jennifer and I can't handle or it's beyond what we're authorized to do, we can call one of these guys and they'll come in and talk to the veteran and get him an answer right away.
Okay. All right. And of course, your office is located, I think I've got the address, 157 Broadway Street. It's right in downtown Jackson across from the PNC Bank. That's one way to kind of get your bearings on exactly where you are. And your office, what's your hours at your office, Arnold?
We try to be in there from 8 to 4. COVID's got us a little bit
Okay.
mixed up. And, I usually, I'm uptown if anybody ever wants to call me, but, maybe 8:45, 9 o'clock, we'll open up the office.
All right. And if somebody has an inquiry, they're asking for someone else or for themselves for possible assistance, is it just a matter of coming into the office and asking?
Yes. Yes, it is. And like I said, the worst that would ever happen is we'd say no.
Right.
And you don't know unless you try.
Do you have sufficient funding to do what you want to do as far as helping people?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
We're funded by $500,000 property tax.
Okay.
And the county commissioners have never argued with us. We get the whole thing.
Right. I believe that's kind of written into the law
It is
to where
law.
it's not supposed to be a wiggle room type thing. Can you pull a figure Arnold, on how much financial assistance you give total a year to veterans?
Oh,
here in
it's
Jackson County?
$65,000, $70,000.
$65,000 to $70,000, and the amount, is that something that you just determine on an individual basis how much you're going to give to a needy veteran?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I guess one of the I guess goals that you have is to reach as many veterans as you can who need help.
Yes.
What do you think that you can do, or what can the public do to help you reach all the veterans that need help, that either as we said before, don't know or aren't coming forward?
Well, Bob and I were talking about before. We and the other Veteran Service Commission, we go and talk to any group that we can possibly talk.
Okay, that's good.
If anybody's watching and they know a veteran and help, call. We're not above making house calls and checking on veterans and making things. Hopefully we'll get back where we can start having some veterans activities that are directly out of our office instead of out of one of the clubs.
Right.
Right now we got it pretty easy because I'm the commander at DAV, he's the commander down at Vietnam Veterans, and the other commanders here in town work with us closely, and they tell people to come see us.
Okay.
Or I talk to them in the club.
And of course, another possible outreach is the veterans organizations themselves, because they should know about the Veterans Service Office. If you want to be a member of the American Legion, VFW, DAV, how would one do that?
Well, I guess for the American Legion of Vietnam Veterans, the best thing to do is just come and see me down at the office.
Okay. Yeah, you can make the connections.
Yeah, and the other three, just go to their front door and knock on the door and say, I want to join.
Okay.
And then I know they have good commanders, they have good people that's running the place right now in all the organizations, and they're all healthy financially. So, don't, like I say, they help so much, it's ridiculous.
Right. I'm going to ask both of you a question because you've been around a while. I asked this question to Brian Gertz on Tuesday when he was the walking veteran coming across Ohio. We interviewed him up by the courthouse. I asked him about attitudes toward veterans. In the last 20, 30 years, has the public's attitude towards veterans changed either for the better or for the worse? I know that's a loaded question, but what do you think? Are the veterans getting the respect they deserve, and has it changed?
I'm a Vietnam veteran. Mm-hmm. And when we come home, it was not the greatest in the world.
I can understand that.
Even here in Jackson, it was not the greatest in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then Desert Storm happened, and everybody was, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to attach the Vietnam veterans to that, which didn't go over so well. And with this war lasting in Afghanistan and Iraq as long as it has,
Mm-hmm.
the patriotism, the enthusiasm, and everything has just wore down.
Mm-hmm.
The average public is tired of hearing about it. They're tired of hearing about veterans, and it's on. Are they getting the respect they deserve? No, that'll never happen because nobody knows what they go through or anything else. But yes, it has got worse, and no, I don't think they're getting the respect they deserve.
Okay. All right. Well, Bob.
It has got a little better. I noticed during the Apple Festival, we went through the parade. We went through, Arnold and I went through on DAV bands, and they were standing up and yelling as we went around. It has gotten better, but it's they still don't get the recognition that they do.
Right.
And like you say, you may leave the service, but the service never leaves you.
No, right. And both of you are great examples of that, of course, with the jobs you do and the duties that you are holding on to, and the fact that you're participating, of course, in the Veterans Day ceremony today.
Let me go back to say one. I don't want you to get wrong. Jackson County is one of the most patriotic, caring communities you'd ever want to be around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, I've never been turned down for anything I've asked for in the 20 years I've been there, and they are patriotic. Like he said, they stood and everything. And when we had the Marine Band here, they couldn't believe how patriotic the people were.
Right.
We've had
It's one of the better communities.
When we had the state commanders for the different organizations here, they're amazed. They go through the parade and all they hear is applause. It's just.
Right, and I'm sure you fellows are aware of the Hocking County Fallen Heroes float that's involved in some of these parades. They always get a nice ovation whenever they're through the.
Yeah.
So there is certainly some support, but depending on the politics and what's going on and whatever, that can certainly have an effect from time to time. I think that 9/11 was a big boost to the military, even though that was more of a civilian thing with the police and the fire. There seemed to be a lot more support for the military because of that threat that America was under for a while.
Well, believe it or not, America's still under a threat, Pete.
Absolutely,
And,
that's why we have our military. Always vigilant, right?
Well, guys like him and I are, and read and keep up to date on what the military's doing and what's going on in the world. I wish the average person would do the same thing. And I'd say a lot of times to young kids and everything, if something happens in Washington, D.C., you need to pay attention because probably 4 or 5 days it's going to be in Jackson, Ohio. And people don't believe that, but it's true.
Very, very much so. Very much so. Well, I know that you're going to be very busy a little bit later on. I'm going to let you get to that. Arnold Tripp, I'd like to thank you for coming in. Bob Bragg, I'd like to thank you for coming in. I'd like to thank you for your service and what you continue to do for veterans, and wish you the best of luck on the Veterans Day ceremony today, 11 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Park.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pete, for having us in.
Appreciate it.
If I don't kill myself getting out of here. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're looking at the weather now, and the weather today should be pretty good for our Veterans Day ceremony. Rain is expected a little later. When I came in, the sun was shining. I don't know about right now, but rain expected a little bit later on, up to a 70% chance, but very mild today. If you're looking at our weather graph, a high of 70 expected today, a little cooler tomorrow when we get to that football Friday night for our Ironmen, a high of 58. It will be down to 35 overnight low on Friday. And then as we look for our weekend, it's going to become a little more November-ish. A high of only 44 on Saturday, a high of 47 on Sunday, and it looks like rain is expected really through 3 days, Saturday through Monday, according to the advanced forecast right now, or at least some rain perhaps during those 3 days. And then back to a little bit on the milder side as we move into the week, both Tuesday and Wednesday, highs of 51 and 63 respectively on Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, we'll flip the card and go to the local news at this point. And really, we have a lot to report. Of course, Veterans Day very much in the news. We'll review some of the highlights there here in just a minute. But at the top of the stack is a decision that was made at the Jackson City Board of Education meeting on Tuesday evening. Our Phil Buffington was there to report it. And a very important decision announced by Superintendent Phil Howard. As of November 11th, that of course is today, the use of facial coverings, masks, at Jackson High School has become optional. Masks are still required on the buses because that is a federal mandate. They are also being required on a continuing basis for now at least at the middle school, Jackson Middle School, and also the 3 Jackson elementary schools, Northview, Southview, and Westview. Superintendent Howard says that if things go the way they hope, with the downward trajectory of COVID cases, that they hope that maybe after the Christmas break they can lift the mask option for they can lift the mask mandate rather for the middle school and the 3 elementary schools. Superintendent Howard made a case for his decision with some statistics. It was, of course, backed by the Board of Education, his decision. His statistics showed that the number of COVID-related cases are down not only in the community at large, but also in the schools themselves. Most of the COVID-related cases that happened in the second wave with the Delta variant occurred that first month of the school year in September. Altogether, so far in the Jackson City schools, 180 students and 23 staff members have tested positive for COVID-19. So, that seems to be a high number, but once again, that is over a period of about 3 months, and the number of cases have come down each month since September. So that's the big news from the Jackson City School District involving COVID-19 and the mask mandate. Speaking of the COVID statistics, the very latest that we know from the Jackson County Health Department and the Vinton County Health Department, kind of a mixed message. The Jackson County Health Department is reporting fewer cases, many fewer cases actually. However, the number of deaths remain a concern. The last report from the Jackson County Health Department stated that there were 90 active cases in the preceding week. I believe that was through Sunday, November 7th. In the preceding week, 90 active cases. This was 28 fewer than the 118 reported the previous week. However, there were 5 additional COVID-related deaths, which now bring, according to the Ohio Department of Health statistics, the death toll in Jackson County up to 83. Active hospitalizations, on the other hand, were down. They fell from 16 to only 8. So that was positive. And the health department reported, once again, I guess this was a message, once again, about vaccination. 86% of the people who were diagnosed with COVID were not fully vaccinated. All right, as far as Vinton County goes, Vinton County had been on a downward trajectory until this week, but that changed, unfortunately. In their latest report issued on Monday, the Vinton County Health Department reported 36 active cases of COVID-19. That was up from 26 the week before. And there were only 21 cases the week before that. So from 21 to 26 to 36. There were also 2 COVID-related deaths in Vinton County in the past week. That brings the death toll in Vinton County to a total of 35 COVID-related deaths. Speaking of vaccinations, there are lots of opportunities to get the COVID-19 vaccine for everybody, but the focus right now is on the children ages 5 to 11 who now can get a COVID-19 vaccine through the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, which was recently approved by the CDC for that age group. The Jackson County Health Department started school site clinics this week to make it very convenient for school students and staff to get the COVID-19 vaccine. On Monday, there was a clinic at Bundy Elementary School. On Tuesday, there was a clinic at Oak Hill Elementary School. And on tonight, there's going to be one at Northview Elementary School, and it's going to be from 4 to 7. Next week, on Monday, there will be a clinic from 4 to 7 at Westview Elementary School, and then on the 17th, November the 17th, at Southview Elementary School, the 16th rather. On the 15th at Westview, that's Monday, and then the 16th at Southview from 4 to 7. The clinics will be for the first dose of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for ages 5 to 11. They have already set dates for second dose clinics at each of those places. They will be roughly 2 weeks into the future. And those dates are already have been posted there on the Telegram website, also on Telegram Facebook, and we'll be updating that information to try to stay current. There was also a clinic last Saturday at the Jackson First Church of the Nazarene. While this was not at a school site, you could get the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine there. It was just the first opportunity to do it. The second dose vaccine has been set now for Saturday, December 4th. For those folks who got the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, for those kids that got the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine on November the 6th, the second dose clinic is going to be December 4th. They have now named the site. The Nazarene Church is not available on the 4th, so it's going to be at the Christ United Methodist Church in Jackson. Once again, we will have all this information printed, posted on our various media platforms, the Telegram. Also, it should be said that all these clinics that we're talking about, the ones that are in the public, the ones that are in the schools, anybody can go get a vaccine. If you're wanting the booster shot, the third booster shot, if you've already had the 2 shots and you're an adult, you can get the booster shot. You can get your first shot, or you can get your second shot if it's time to get your second shot. You can also even get a flu shot. You shouldn't have, these are all walk-in clinics. You don't need to make an appointment. They're available. If you have insurance, you should bring your insurance card with you, because if your insurance will cover it, the health department will take advantage of that. But nobody has to worry about an out-of-pocket cost or not being able to get it over a fee. So in Vinton County, they're kind of doing the same thing the Vinton County Health Department is, and their Pfizer BioNTech vaccine clinics for ages 5 to 11 will be next week at the 3 elementary schools. On Tuesday, November 16th at West Elementary over at Allensville from 1 to 5 p.m., at Central Elementary in MacArthur on Wednesday the 17th from 1 to 5 p.m., and then on Thursday, November 18th from 1 to 5 p.m. at South Elementary School. Now, keep in mind that at the Jackson County Health Department and the Vinton County Health Department, you can make appointments online at the Vinton County Health Department, or you can call the Jackson County Health Department at 286-5094 and set up an appointment. They have set times for appointments. You'll find out when they are. And the Jackson County Health Department is advertising that they will do home visits if that's, necessary to get the COVID-19 vaccine to somebody, but you do have to set that up. All right, the health departments are not the only place where you can get the COVID-19 vaccination. This has been the same all along, but we tend to report what the health departments are doing because they're a public agency. But other places where you can get the COVID-19 vaccines in Jackson County include Thruth Pharmacy in Wellston, Holzer Medical Center in Jackson, Hometown Pediatric at 504 McCarty Lane in Jackson. And I do want to say that Hometown Pediatric, even though Dr. Jill Neff is a pediatrician, she will do other COVID-19 vaccines for adults as well. They are available there. Also, the First Church of the Nazarene is another place you can get the vaccines through the health department. Kroger Pharmacy at 530 East Main Street, Walgreens Pharmacy at 521 East Main Street, and Walmart Pharmacy at 100 Walmart Drive. All those are in Jackson. In Vinton County, the Hopewell Health Centers in MacArthur is a place to get the COVID-19 vaccine. That's at State Route 93 on the north end of MacArthur. Shriver's Pharmacy in downtown MacArthur at 530 North Market Street. And, of course, the Vinton County Health Department in the on the north end of MacArthur, State Route 93 North. The Jackson County Health Department wants to once again remind people that they are now accepting applications for full-time community health workers. The health department is trying to fill 13 full-time positions. These community health workers, or CHWs, will be located in each of the following counties: Athens, Gallia, Hocking, Jackson, Lawrence, Meigs, Perry, Pike, Ross, Scioto, and Vinton. They will be responsible for improving community health literacy, utilizing evidence-based programs to create community change, assisting with COVID responses, participating in vaccine clinics, helping those with chronic illnesses navigate and access community services, and also adopt healthy behaviors. Sounds like a pretty wide-based job duties for these community health workers. And those positions, 13 of them are available. Some of them may be filled, but as far as I know, you can still apply there at the through the health department. You can send a resume or cover letter, including which county you would like to serve and what work you would like to perform. All right, on the criminal justice front, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office reports the arrest of Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, 37 years old, of State Route 93 Wellston, was arrested after an incident on Friday evening, November the 5th. He is charged with being under the influence of drugs and shooting a firearm at his grandparents' residence. Now, the photo that you're seeing there on the screen are some of the things that were confiscated after this incident, of course, which includes weapons and ammunition and a small bag which allegedly contains white residue, which may be some sort of illegal drug, according to the Sheriff's Office. But once again, Aaron Jones arrested on multiple violence-related charges after that incident on State Route 93 Wellston. I believe that's pretty close to Jackson, actually. All right, on last Monday evening, Jackson City Council approved the rezoning for property at 265 Pearl Street in Jackson. That is a vacant lot that is right behind the PNC Bank in downtown Jackson. And of course, from a regulatory standpoint, several approvals had to be made. It appears that they have all been made now. The Zoning Board of Appeals issued a conditional use permit some time ago. The Jackson Planning Commission approved the rezoning. However, Jackson City Council has to have a public hearing, and then they have to second the motion. And that's what happened on Monday evening. There was a public hearing, and then during the council meeting, council passed on first reading this rezoning, proposed rezoning for 265 Pearl Street. Now, what's going to happen there is Buckeye Community Service, based here in Jackson, wants to build a new group home at that site. They currently have a site. It's basically a big brick house at 6 West South Street, just about across the street from Cardo's. 8 developmentally disabled females live there. They would like a more modern facility that's on one floor, and that's what they plan to build at 265 Pearl Street. Susan Daniels, who is the board president for BCS, she says they're already working with an architect and contractor, and perhaps by this time next year, there will be a facility there, a new group home on that site. Right now, it is a vacant lot. Their plans right now are to probably sell their other property at 6 West South Street. Also, speaking of the city of Jackson, of course, there was, some controversy earlier this summer, or in the fall, I guess it was, when the city of Jackson decided to clamp down on the regulations in Fairmont Cemetery regarding grave decorations. Over time, the rules that were on paper for grave decorations, the type of decorations, how big they were, some other aspects, were just not being complied with, but really they were allowed to happen. Well, last summer and into the fall, they announced plans to enforce these decorations, to enforce these new rules on decorations. Of course, that upsets some of the people who own graves and decorate the graves now, because there's a lot of sentimentality involved in that. Jackson City Council and the administration kind of backed off that and said they would come back and discuss that issue sometimes near the end of the year, going into the new year, and decide what they were going to do or not do. The first step in that process will come this Monday evening at 5:30 p.m. when Jackson City Council Service Committee meets at the City Council chambers starting at 5:30 p.m. Service Committee is going to meet. I'm sure the administration will probably be there as well. Mayor Randy Evans, Service Director Dave Swackhammer, one or both. But the issue is going to be, once again, what to do about the decorations in the cemetery, what to allow, what to disallow, whether to change the rules that are on paper right now. They would very much like the public to attend. I know that Service Committee Chairman Ryan Peters wants to try to do the right thing. He wants to have the input of the public, but when these meetings are called and just a couple people show up or nobody shows up, it makes it very difficult, because then when you make a decision, you find out that a lot of people don't like it and feel like they were left out of the process. Well, this is your opportunity to be involved in the process. 5:30 p.m. Monday, November 15th. I understand that another issue that may be discussed is a possible expansion of Fairmont Cemetery as well. All right, National Drug Take-Back Day was held on October the 23rd. Holzer Health System kind of coordinates this in 3 area counties, Jackson, Meigs, and Gallia, and it was very successful in all 3 counties. In Jackson County, a total of 42 pounds of expired and unused prescription and OTC medications were collected. Of course, the idea here is to make sure that some of these expired or unused drugs aren't abused by other people who shouldn't have those drugs. This gives you a chance to dispose of them in a safe and responsible way, and the public really came forward in all 3 counties to make this a successful endeavor. All right, once again, I want to remind you about Veterans Day. Veterans Day program in Jackson at 11 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Park. We talked about that with Mr. Tripp and Mr. Bragg. The Veterans Day program in Vinton County will be in front of the courthouse steps at 11 a.m. There will be a VFW Honor Guard participating. Probate Juvenile Judge Robert Grillo will be involved in this. He will be reciting the names of the war dead in Vinton County over the years, and the prosecuting attorney in Vinton County, Jim Payne, will be making the keynote address. Once again, that's at 11 o'clock on the courthouse steps in MacArthur. Also today, the Wellston Senior Citizens are having a Veterans Day celebration. It will start at 10:45 a.m. It's open to all veterans. A complimentary lunch will be served. The Wellston Senior Citizens is located at 407 South New York Avenue in Wellston. Also, the Wellston Lions Club today, if you're in Wellston and you happen to be a veteran, they will give you a free combo meal that includes a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink. They will be posted just next to the Wellston Dollar Store, just off South Pennsylvania Avenue across from Giovanni's. And they will even give you a curbside delivery service if you give them a call at 740-418-5335. And so the Wellston Lions Club, they usually do this on random weekends, but they're doing it today just to support the veterans. Also, we want to let you know that we were able to catch up with, myself and James Hamilton, with Brian Gertz on Tuesday. He is the gentleman who is walking, running, driving all the way across Ohio to raise awareness for veterans issues, to raise money for veterans. And those were the three gentlemen that we saw there at the courthouse. That's Brian Gertz on the left. That is Nick Barton in the middle. He is a U.S. Army veteran from Jackson. And that is Chuck Little. He is a Marine veteran from Chillicothe. They happened to be walking with Brian Gertz when he was in Jackson on Tuesday afternoon. And we had a nice interview with him. We're going to have a nice story in Saturday's paper. And I know that James has prepared a video, which I think you can access on YouTube. Is that right, James?
And it will be on the show tomorrow.
And it will be in its entirety on the show tomorrow. Where he talked about his trip across Ohio, why he's doing it, and he's done this in 4 or 5 other states, and he's going to do it again next year. He plans to hit West Virginia, North Carolina. Very dedicated person to veterans. All right, speaking of dedicated veterans, we want to tip our cap, our military cap, to Ron Speakman. Ron Speakman lived in Jackson for many years. Earlier this year, he retired to a small town in South Carolina to be near family members. But Ron, for many years, was a member of the Jackson County Veterans Service Commission. He got on 40 years ago when they thought they needed a younger guy on there and someone to connect with Vietnam veterans, which Ron was one. Ron stayed on the Veterans Commission for 40 years. He'd probably still be on it if he wouldn't have moved to South Carolina. But earlier this year, late summer, the Veterans Service Commission gave him an honor, gave him a really nice Veterans decorations to thank him for his 40 years of service. And we did a story about him in our Wednesday paper, front page. But Ron Speakman, definitely one of those folks who is really committed to veterans. And the other folks in that picture are the same way. They're the members of the Jackson County Veterans Service Commission. Let's go ahead and give you their names. That from left to right there are, if you're looking at the picture, are Veterans Service Officer Arnold Tripp on the left. Commission members Jerry Gearing, he is the president. Then the newest member of the Veterans Service Commission, Anthony Brenner. And then that's Ron Speakman himself there in the center of the photo. And then 2 other Veterans Service Commission members, Sunset Caldwell and Robert Bragg. These are the 5 gentlemen and that make the decisions about helping veterans with all kinds of financial assistance and consultation. And Ron did that for 40 years in Jackson County. And the Veterans Service Commission wanted to give him recognition, which they did with a very nice decoration. All right, we move towards another holiday, Thanksgiving, and Rowdy's Smokehouse and owner-operator Nathan Kitts have come up with quite a community service. It was just announced earlier this week, but Rowdy's Smokehouse, located at 495 Rouse Street in outside Jackson, will be providing a free Thanksgiving dinner for the community on Thursday, November 25th. Now, there's really not any criteria to enjoy this community Thanksgiving dinner. You just have to show up. It will be a takeout type situation, not a sit-down thing. But the dinner is inclusive, meaning that it's being held for everyone in the community. Those in need, those not in need, those that are alone, those that are with somebody, law enforcement, healthcare workers, first responders, anybody in Jackson County is welcome. They'll have a line set up, and all homemade meals will be packaged up in to-go boxes in a socially distanced manner, and that will take place on the real Thanksgiving, November the 25th, Thursday, November 25th, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can go somewhere and get a hot Thanksgiving meal and take it home. The event will be totally staffed by volunteers and is being made possible by 4 major donors: Walmart of Jackson, Ted, Alice, Haley, and Taylor Frazier, the Frazier family of Jackson. Of course, Ted is the Jackson County Sheriff. Speyside Bourbon Cooperage of Jackson, and the Sons of the American Legion of Wellston. So a great thing being done by Nathan Kitts and those sponsors to make this happen in the community. Speaking of Thanksgiving meals, we want to tell you that the Jackson Food Program, better known as the Jackson Food Pantry, they can't do their annual sit-down community Thanksgiving dinner because of COVID. They always have that up at Jackson High School on Wednesday evening before Thanksgiving Eve. But because of COVID, they can't do it, but they have come up with a takeout frozen meal that you can still order. Only the time is running out to do that. You have to call no later than 1:30 p.m. on Friday, November 12th, that's tomorrow, at 286-5937. That is the number for the Jackson Food Program down on 323 East Broadway Street. You can call Nancy Baisden, and she will sign you up. There's a limited number that are still available, but instead of a sit-down meal, you will be getting a frozen takeout meal. Have frozen turkey and all other frozen food in there, and all you have to do is warm it up and cook it on Thanksgiving or whenever you want it. The pickup time will be Monday, November the 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Family Life Center of the Christ United Methodist Church. She announced this back on October 1st. There were a limited number. There are still a few that are available, but the deadline is to order one of these is Friday, November the 12th at 1:30 p.m. All right, Christmas in the Park. As we move on to the next holiday, there will be the celebrations in Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, and MacArthur. And we just want to tell you that in Jackson, if you want to get one of the Christmas trees in Manpower Park, Barbary McCathern and Cultivating Our Future is handling that. And the trees will be lit on Saturday evening, December 4th. It will be after a Christmas parade and before a fireworks display there in downtown Jackson. But the fee of ordering a tree, when you order a tree, you pay a fee of $40 for a fresh cut tree ranging from 5 feet to 9 feet. You must pay up front. You are responsible for decorating it. And the deadline to order a tree is Sunday, November 21st at 6 p.m. or until all the trees are sold. If they sell them all before the 21st, you might not even get one on the 21st. If you want to order a tree or ask about ordering a tree, call Barbie McCathern at 740-418-3826. Once again, 740-418-3826. You can text her or call her. She's also available through Facebook as well. The Oak Hill Historical Society is doing their Christmas Trees in the Park program again at Central Memorial Park in Oak Hill. The Oak Hill Historical Society and Brian Moore are making that happen. By Saturday, November the 20th, 6 to 8 foot trees will be delivered and set up in Central Park in Oak Hill by the St. Paul United Methodist Church. The Christmas tree lighting will then take place on Saturday, December 4 at 5:30 p.m., and it will be in conjunction with other Christmas celebrations in Oak Hill, including a Christmas parade that evening. If you want to reserve a tree, it will cost you $35, and you do it online at oakhillhistoricalsociety.org. That is the website for the Oak Hill Historical Society. You can also provide your own Christmas tree and register for free. That's another option that you have. Once again, oakhillhistoricalsociety.org. It costs you $35. I don't see a deadline time for that, but obviously that time is creeping up on it if you want to be involved in that. Up Wellston Way, they have already sold all their trees for their Ohilco Lights display in Pride Park. They opened up registration for trees back in October. They began on October the 14th, and they have all been sold, believe it or not. Reservations, however, are still being accepted if there are cancellations. and then they will be given on a first-come, first-served basis based on the order of registration. Decorating times will be announced in the very near future. Once again, that will be in Pride Park. All right, turning to sports, we've talked so much on TV and written about in the newspaper about the Vinton County High School volleyball team and what a great year they had. Well, they had 4 young women, 4 players, all signed to go to college to play volleyball. They're going to go to school and they're going to play volleyball too, which is their second love. And all these young ladies are heading to college to play. They had the signing ceremony last night. Our own Red Thompson was there. From the left are Zoe Kiefer. She's going to Alderson Broaddus University. That's in West Virginia. Micah McFadden. She's heading to the University of Rio Grande. Cameron Zinn. She's heading to Wheeling University in West Virginia. And Sydney Smith. She is heading to West Virginia State University. So congratulations to all those young women. We'll have more information on that in our Saturday edition. Also, we don't have the details on this, but we also know that a Jackson High School senior, Leah Alford, was involved in a signing ceremony last night. She is headed to play college softball, and we'll hear more about that in a future TV show as well. And we also know that from Jackson, Caleb McGraw and Holden Blankenship, who are both outstanding baseball players, they are both heading to Mount Vernon Nazarene College to play baseball at the collegiate level next school year. Of course, this Friday, the Jackson Ironmen will be at Waverly High School to play in the Division III Region 11 semifinal game against Western Brown. Of course, this is a rematch of a regular season game that Western Brown won 33-28 at Western Brown back in September. And the winner of this game will go to the regional final. If Jackson wins this game, they will set a school record for most wins in any season. Most playoff wins in any season. It would be their 3rd victory. They've already defeated Columbus South and Columbus Eastmore. The winner heads to the regional final against the winner of the Granville-London game, which is also being played on Friday night. Of course, we will be there to broadcast it on WKOV 96.7 FM. Dan Dobbins, Dan Morrow, and myself. Our broadcast time should be at approximately 6:35 p.m. All right, as we also look towards Christmas, right here in downtown Jackson, the Jackson County Women's Club, formerly known for many years as the Jackson Linus Club, will be opening its holiday candy store starting next Monday, November 15th, and it's going to be at 281 Main Street, and that is the storefront. It's already starting to take shape with the decorations, but that is the most currently that was the site of Abbott Home Care. It's been vacant for some time, and the Linus, or not the Linus Club, the Jackson Women's Club Association, got to get used to calling them that. They will be having their candy store there. It'll be open on November the 15th, and will go through most of the Christmas season. The candy is purchased in bulk from reputable candy companies, and they'll have a wide variety from which to choose, including some sugar-free options. The best selection in the prices in town will be available. You can purchase as little as possible, or a few pieces, or a few pounds. Members are available to assist you in preparing treat bags through your church group or organization, your school, nursing home, etc. The members stand by to help you. Once again, that will be open starting Monday at 281 East Main Street in downtown Jackson, just a couple of doors down from where we are right now. All right, the Rock for Tots concert will be this Saturday at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center, and a talented quartet of singers will be singing. That includes our own John Pelletier, also John Jones, Bart Wiseman, Craig Klein, and David Leach. I guess that's a quintet. They will be performing the Rock for Tots concert, and this is you get the bonus of hearing some great 60s music, and they are products of the 60s. That's when they were in high school and even college, and they still know those songs. They're going to sing them, and the money raised will go for Christmas projects here in the Jackson area through Rock for Tots. In 2019, the concert sold out. In 2020, they didn't have the concert because of COVID, but they are having it this year. There are a few tickets available as of Tuesday. I hope that there still are some. I've not heard that they're not, but you just need to go to the Marquet website at marquetjackson.org, and that is where you buy tickets in advance for Rock for Tots. All right, next weekend, not this weekend, the Jackson High School Drama Club will be performing Alice in Wonderland. Tickets are being sold to the general public. It's not being limited to just parents because of COVID. However, I know that there will be limited seating. They're trying to keep family groups together and have a little bit of spacing in there. But tickets are still available to the general public. But it's good to get them in advance so you don't get cut out. You can buy them online through the Jackson City Schools website. The 3 performances are scheduled for Friday evening, November the 19th. Saturday evening, November 20th, and Sunday afternoon, November 21st. If the Jackson Ironmen win their playoff game on Friday, they will change the Friday night performance on the 19th to a afternoon performance on the 20th at 1 p.m. Want to remind the folks in Wellston that the city of Wellston will be testing fire hydrants throughout the month of November. You may see some water discoloration when the fire department is in your area flushing those hydrants. So please use caution when doing laundry, cooking, or using water for consumption. The public is thanked in advance for your cooperation. Just let that water run clear before you use it. So that's the news as we have it. Happy Veterans Day to everybody. We urge you all to attend the Veterans Day ceremonies, 11 o'clock in Jackson at the Veterans Memorial Park, and 11 o'clock in MacArthur in front of the Vinton County Courthouse. This has been Pete Wilson for James Hamilton for Main Street TV. Have a great day, everybody.